she is going to have double standards. Double standards are when, yes, double standards are when in this situation it's okay and in this situation it's not okay when it's the same thing. Now, for example, she will send her child to school. Yeah. Now in school she can't control the food. So for yeah, and yeah, it's of course it's very low quality, and there is no point her being angry with you when she herself will send her child to a place which has bad food. So the problem is the problem is not being objective. The problem is not being balanced, not being clear in the situation. Now, you can't be truly unhappy with another person if you yourself are doing the same thing. You know, she's not her negativity is understandable but not rational. It's understandable but not rational because we all want everything to be better. That is a natural reaction. But let's stop talking about feelings and let's start talking about facts. Now, the facts are that that it is necessary to introduce people to both sides of every argument, especially children. You have to introduce children to both sides. If you introduce children to good food, you have to introduce children to bad food. I'm not saying you have to give children bad food, but children have to know what bad food is. So that's the first thing to understand, that you have to know both sides. And then you have to be free to make a choice for what is right. I also understand that there are a lot of emotional arguments for things. And we have to be logical, practical, and reasonable. My philosophy is that everybody knows what I like and what I don't like. Everybody knows what I accept and what I don't accept. Everybody knows my opinion. And I am not going to tell anybody what to do, when to do it. I will give my opinion. I will tell people what I think is right, but I won't tell people what to do. And so what I don't see doesn't happen. Right? I don't want my kids to drink drinks with sugar in them. I don't want them to eat sweets and chocolate. I don't want them to develop bad habits with food. But I also know that trying to control their habits is not possible because I'm not there all of the time. So yeah, yeah, and as long as the children understand why I do what I do, why I say what I say, that's enough. I'm not going to try to tell them what they must do. I will give them my opinion. I can say, I think this is good. I don't think this is good. Well, it's enough for me because I know that when I'm not there, that they do things. Yeah, they, yeah. When I'm not there, they do things that I cannot control, and I accept that. That's okay. That's the way the world works. So so I think that it is enough when they understand my opinion. They don't have to follow my opinion. I'm happy if they do. They don't have to follow it. Um, but it's enough if they understand it because they can make decisions for themselves and see the consequences of those decisions. Yeah. Um, no, I do have rules and limits. But with food, you have to be practical, right? And when children are young, they're very active and very often they need to eat more because they're burning more energy. Yeah, and you can't really miss what you don't know. So if you don't know that something exists, you can't really miss it. You can't want it because you don't know it exists. Now, it is possible that things exist which are helpful and useful and you don't know about them, but you don't miss them. You just don't know about them. You don't have any emotional contact. Yeah, yeah. To miss something means you have an emotional connection with that thing. And so we can, there are things that we don't know about, but we don't miss them because we don't know about them. So that's a different kind of experience. And with children, as long as we don't introduce them to bad habits, they won't know that the bad habits exist. If they don't see bad habits, they don't develop bad habits. And and I think that very often children have more reason and more logic than adults because children are contemplating and manipulating and very creative and and adults are just repeaters. They repeat the same habits again and again and again. Children explore, but adults tend to stay in one place, doing one thing. Um, so so uh, children are always going to find ways to get the things that they want. You just have to give them good things to want. so that they can think about it. So um, these might be creative activities, playing with Lego, or physical activities, doing sports in the garden or something, um, or it might be painting or drawing, or you give them yeah, give them space to, to do all of these things, to be participants, to be active. Yeah, their they have their own ideas. They can be influenced, but they have their own ideas. Um, I see the way that as my son is older and older, he has more and more of his own things that he wants to do. Uh, he is happy to read something by himself, or play a game by himself, or draw a picture, or create some kind of fantasy story or something. My son is constantly creative. And in fact, I don't know how children can not be creative. I don't understand. Yeah, there's an argument for logic and creativity are opposites, and there's an argument for logic and creativity are the same thing. There's there are two sides to that, because art without logic is abstract. And abstract art is is very crazy fantasy. If you look at the great works of art, they're all mathematical. They're all mathematical. It's the relationship of objects, the understanding of depth and perception and distance. It's the geometry of the yeah. See, you can't have great art without understanding the principles of as yeah, symmetry, aesthetics, geometry, all yeah, all those elements. And there is something in the human condition which connects us to aesthetical universal patterns. Um, you know the shell spiral. Yeah, what's the shell? The shell is what you find on a beach, like crabs live inside it. Yeah, and the shell has that spiral design, which is mathematically the Fibonacci series of numbers. It's the mathematical ratio for this spiral, which is the same spiral of growth that exists within the universe. Everything grows in this mathematical what do we call it? Equation, basically, formula. And so the universe has a mathematical pattern to it. Now, the universe is real. Numbers are not real, because numbers are created by people. So they're different from universal principles. The universe did not create numbers. People created numbers.
Yeah, I understand when I what I tell you.
Yeah. So numbers are a human way of understanding the universe.
Yes.
And the universe is very organic in its growth. But numbers are very practical and logical. And we use this practical and logical system to understand the organic nature of the universe.
Is how it works.
Yeah, and so we have organic on one side and not organic, inorganic, mathematical on the other side. It's like the yin and the yang of of uh, of understanding, like the left side brain and right side brain theories. And so you can't have great art if you don't have mathematical principles in your art. Because you can't have perception, you can't have depth, you can't have, you, you can't, without understanding of time, space, distance, without three-dimensional principles, you can't really create art.
Mm-hmm. But this normal art, not this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's schizophrenic, ugly.
Yes.
Uh,
So we
it's
know about what we are talking.
yeah, it's random and pointless. Is what it is. Um, it's aesthetic, but it has no relationship to reality.